You kidding me? That is one of the most disrespectful acts I've ever witnessed by a professional athlete toward their coach, one of their coaches.
Are you kidding me? That was one of the most disrespectful acts I've ever seen from a professional athlete toward one of their coaches. You saw the clip, you heard the outrage. Then came the headlines. Angel Reese suspended indefinitely. It felt like the inevitable climax to a story that's been spiraling all season. But what if I told you that suspension was a hoax? What if the real story isn't the one that went viral, but the one that's being deliberately buried? Tonight, we're not just revisiting the drama, we're peeling back the layers of a viral lie to reveal a far more complex and troubling truth within the Chicago Sky organization. We'll connect the dots between a frustrated star, a silent front office, and a warning from the general manager that flew under the radar. A warning that may have been the spark that lit the fuse. We're filtering out the noise to find the truth. And if you're here for the real story, the one behind the headlines, hit that like button now to let us know you're part of the team that digs deeper. So, let's rewind the tape, not just to the moment of the incident, but to the frantic final minutes of the game that set the stage. It was July 7th, and the Chicago Sky were locked in a fierce back-and-forth battle with the Washington Mystics on national television. This wasn't a blowout, it was a game that mattered, where every possession was a fight. The Sky were struggling to salvage a season slipping through their fingers, sitting at a painful 5-13 record. In the middle of it all, Angel Reese was on fire, putting up 22 points and grabbing 15 rebounds in a dominant performance. It should have been the headline, another monster double-double. But with just 29.9 seconds left and the game tied at 77, tensions boiled over during a timeout. As assistant coach Ann Crosby held up the clipboard, Reese, in a flash of raw frustration, did this.
Is walking over to the bench and she slaps the clipboard out of her coach's hand.
She walks over to the bench and, in a moment of visible frustration, slaps the clipboard out of her coach's hand. The Chicago Sky would go on to lose the game by just 2 points. But that narrow defeat was instantly overshadowed by that single act clipped posted and spread across the internet like wildfire. Within minutes, the narrative was set in stone.
It's another day of the Angel Reese drama because she has simply smacked the clipboard out of an assistant coach's hands. Yes.
It's yet another day of injury drama, all because she smacked a clipboard out of an assistant coach's hands. Yes, and with that single act, the narrative took off. Before the players had even reached the locker room, the internet's court of public opinion had already delivered its verdict. It was swift and brutal. Commentators, fans, and critics alike immediately labeled the moment as the ultimate act of disrespect.
But this is some Bush League lack of respect. This behavior can't happen.
This was seen as pure Bush League, a blatant lack of respect. Behavior like this simply can't be allowed. The conversation wasn't about whether she should be punished, but for how long. Calls for a suspension came swiftly and loudly from every corner of the sports world.
For the games, I think just continue to fight through that and keep pushing through that. We'll be grateful.
Angel Reese's actions were seen as completely disrespectful. 2-game suspension, at minimum, at minimum. But this wasn't just speculation, it became a widespread demand. The pressure was intense, and the narrative quickly solidified. Several YouTube channels and countless social media accounts began reporting as fact that the Chicago Sky had already suspended Reese indefinitely for conduct detrimental to the team. It became the top story, the seemingly logical outcome. For a player who leads the league in technical fouls, the story made perfect sense. And for most people, that's where it ended. The digital breadcrumbs painted a clear picture. A star player acted out, crossed a line, and was swiftly punished by her team. It was clean, it was simple, exactly what everyone expected. But as we've learned time and time again, the most viral version of events is often just the surface. The world was reporting a suspension, but as hours turned into days, a strange silence emerged from the one place that actually mattered, the Chicago Sky front office. So, what was really going on? Let's cut through the noise and uncover the truth buried beneath an avalanche of speculation. Here's the fact that changes the entire narrative. As of this recording, on the night of July 10, 2025, there's been zero official confirmation of any suspension for Angel Reese. Not from the Chicago Sky, not from the WNBA, nothing. The indefinite suspension for conduct detrimental to the team that fueled 1,000 hot takes. It was a ghost, a viral hoax, a fiction born from the internet echo chamber that ran so far with a rumor it blurred into reality. And this is where our investigation truly begins, because things get far more complex. In a situation this volatile, with such intense public pressure, silence isn't a lack of a story, the silence is the story. It's a deliberate choice that speaks louder than any press release. So, The question isn't why was she suspended. The far more compelling question is why wasn't she? What does that reveal about the true power dynamics inside the Chicago Sky organization? There are powerful forces at play here, and the team's decision to stay silent is the first major clue that this goes deeper than one player losing her cool. We're going to explore two major theories to explain that silence. The first, it's all about the money. Welcome to what we're calling the Asset Protection Program. To understand it, you have to stop seeing Angel Reese as just a basketball player and start recognizing her as what she truly is to the league and to her sponsors. A massive revenue-generating asset. Let's look at the facts. In just her second year, Angel Reese is already a two-time WNBA All-Star. That alone makes her a cornerstone player. But it gets even bigger. She was just announced as the cover athlete for NBA 2K26's WNBA edition. And she's not just on the cover, she's debuting her first Reebok signature shoe on it. Let that sink in. A signature shoe and the cover of the world's biggest basketball video game. That's not just stardom, that's a multi-million-dollar corporate partnership with marketing plans stretching months, even years, into the future. Now put yourself in the shoes of the Chicago Sky front office. On one hand, you have a player whose on-court behavior is drawing a storm of negative press. But on the other, that same player is a commercial powerhouse, driving viewership, selling merch, and raising the profile of your entire franchise. Do you suspend her for smacking a clipboard and risk angering your sponsors, the league, and NBA 2K's developers? Do you damage the brand you're financially tied to? It creates a high-stakes dilemma. And from a business perspective, the team's silence starts to look less like weakness and more like a calculated financial decision. Why validate negative headlines with a suspension when you can handle things internally? Protect your asset and let the news cycle move on. This is the conflict at the heart of the modern WNBA.
She can't get out of her own way. And I don't give a rat's how frustrated she is.
She just can't get out of her own way. And frankly, I don't give a rat's how frustrated she is. That statement might ring true from a fan's perspective, but for the front office, her frustration has to be weighed against her immense marketability. So, what do you do when your biggest headache is also your biggest asset? It's a tough question. Let me know your take in the comments below. But the money angle is only half the story. There's another, equally compelling theory behind the team's silence, one that suggests a much deeper issue within the Sky locker room. This brings us to theory number 2, and it's a far darker one. We'll call it the power vacuum. According to this theory, the Sky's silence isn't a calculated move to protect a valuable asset. It's a symptom of a larger problem, that the coaching staff has lost control of its star player, and possibly the entire locker room. Let's be direct, the critics aren't whispering about this anymore. They're shouting it.
Tyler Marsh has no control over this basketball team. At this point, it looks like his leadership is questioned as a head coach with some of the tactics and things that go down with Angel Reese in this damn basketball team.
Tyler Marsh appears to have little control over his basketball team, and at this point, his leadership as head coach is being seriously questioned, especially when it comes to how injuries and team dynamics are handled. That's a heavy accusation, but is there evidence to support it? First, let's remember an important detail. Tyler Marsh is in his first year as head coach. He's a rookie, tasked with managing one of the most high-profile and challenging personalities in the league. That dynamic alone is tough, but when you examine the pattern of behavior leading up to this moment, it paints a clearer picture. The clipboard incident wasn't the first time Angel Reese publicly displayed her frustration. She currently leads the WNBA with 5 technical fouls this season, and just one day before the clipboard incident, following a tough loss to the Minnesota Lynx, Reese went scorched earth on the league's officiating during a post-game press conference.
And she's getting destroyed.
But that has to be fixed. And I don't give a damn if I get fined because I should speak. I'm tired of this. I've been nice, I've been humble, but I've had enough. When your star player publicly dares the league to fine her and faces no visible consequences from her own team, it sends a clear message she's operating outside the normal rules of accountability. From this perspective, the team's silence on the clipboard incident isn't a calculated strategy, it's paralysis. It reflects a coaching staff that may be too afraid to challenge its star player for fear of losing her entirely. This is what a power vacuum looks like, and many analysts believe it's directly tied to the team's poor performance and dismal record.
Supposed to not have control of this basketball team. It's why they could be losing these damn games.
If the coach doesn't have control of the team, then it's no surprise they're losing these damn games. So, here we are with two competing theories. Is the front office playing 4D chess to protect a multi-million-dollar asset? Or is the coaching staff simply unable to manage a team that's spiraling out of control? The truth likely lies somewhere in the middle, but there are still more dots to connect. What could possibly link the asset protection theory with the power vacuum theory? there's one critical piece that's been almost entirely overlooked. Amid the chaos of the clipboard incident, a reported internal rumor that reframes the entire pressure narrative. According to media reports, just before the recent outbursts, Chicago Sky general manager Jeff Pagliocca allegedly warned Angel Reese directly, telling her the team needed more production from her. Let's pause and analyze that. More production, from a player averaging nearly 13 points and 13 rebounds per game. A player setting WNBA records for consecutive 15-rebound games. A player who, on the night of the clipboard incident, dropped 22 points and grabbed 15 boards. And yet, the front office told her it still wasn't enough. What kind of pressure does that create in an already strained environment? It turns it into a pressure cooker. The frustration we saw on the court wasn't just about losing. It was about the crushing weight of trying to single-handedly carry a 5-13 team while being told she needed to do even more. That doesn't excuse slapping a clipboard, but it offers a compelling explanation for the emotional boiling point we all witnessed. And in that context, we have to consider Angel Reese's own words after the incident. In a post on X, she wrote, "Those blank were pissing me off. Shout out to Ann because she knew it was the heat of the moment and didn't let me apologize, because she knew. Not happening again though." On the surface, it reads like an apology. But the key phrase here, "she knew," is critical. It suggests that Ann Crosby, the assistant coach at the center of the incident, understood the pressure Reese was under. It implies the matter was resolved internally, between two professionals in the heat of competition. This paints a picture of a tense but human moment, one handled in private, while the outside world ran wild with the narrative of a team-breaking suspension-worthy offense. It just doesn't add up.
Back to clipboard out the assistant coach hand. Just not a good look from Angel Reese as a basketball player. Just like I said, man, she's supposed to be a leader among young women across.
I think we just have great teammates, great vets, great coaches that continue to close, keep working, and keep pushing. It's this contradiction, the public support for her team versus the private frustration from mounting pressure, that defines Angel Reese's entire season and leads us to one unavoidable conclusion. So here it is, when you connect all the dots. The story of Angel Reese's indefinite suspension was a complete hoax, a piece of viral fiction that distracted the world from a far more troubling reality. The real story isn't about a single act of disrespect, it's about a perfect storm brewing in Chicago, a franchise caught between protecting its most valuable commercial asset and confronting a deep-rooted leadership crisis. The team's silence wasn't a precursor to punishment, it was a sign of organizational paralysis. Exposing a power vacuum where a rookie head coach, a frustrated star, and a demanding front office are now on a collision course. The clipboard slap wasn't the crime, it was just the evidence of a team cracking at the seams. So, what's your take on all this? We want to hear from you, our fellow narrative analysts. Who do you think is most responsible for the chaos brewing in Chicago? Is it Angel Reese for her actions, head coach Tyler Marsh for his perceived lack of control, or the general manager for placing impossible pressure on a rising star? Let us know your theory in the comments below. We'll be tracking every move the Sky make from trade whispers to the next sideline confrontation. If you want the real story, not just the viral fiction, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. And finally, if this video helped you see the deeper game being played, share it with another WNBA fan who's tired of hot takes and ready for real analysis. Help us continue to filter out the noise and uncover the truth.